Hello and welcome to PepperAmmy's recipe for flour, tortillas and tortilla chips. These are so simple to make, and if you are thinking of making the chips, the flavors are absolutely endless. You can make sweet, you can make salty, you can make spicy, basically whatever powdered flavoring that you can think of you could try and put on these. It is such a flexible recipe. To start, we will need 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, a third of a cup of vegetable oil and 1 cup of hot water. We want to start by combining all the dry ingredients into a mixing bowl and giving them a brief mix. Then we want to add just the oil and mix until we have something that resembles large breadcrumbs. Now after that, we just add in the hot water and stir to combine, then knead until you have a craggy dough. Once the dough has come together, divide it into even amounts. I split mine into around 80 gram balls and then gently push down on them to make a disc. Then you move to a clean tea towel and let sit for between 15 minutes and an hour. When the dough is rested, heat up a dry large saucepan over medium-high heat and start rolling out your dough discs to a few millimeters thick. Now note, when added to the hot pan, they may shrink back a little bit, and also, as I say, you don't need to add any oil to the pan at all. We're just using the pure heat of the metal surface. Now place the tortillas in the pan one at a time. You're looking for brown spots on the bottom and bubbles on the top. This should take around 1 minute, and then if it takes a little bit longer, that's fine. Just the telling sign is those brown spots on the bottom. Now after you've got those and the bubbles, flip over and cook on the other side for around 30 seconds. Now these are like pancakes. My first one didn't turn out so good, but it made a really good sacrificial one for trying out the salsa on. And yeah, you know the story of the salsa, it was amazing. Now once you have a stack of tortillas, you can enjoy them warm, fresh out of the pan, or let them cool for later use. They can keep in the fridge for 2 to 3 days or in the freezer for 2 to 3 months. As I said in the intro, just like the salsa, we're taking this one step further. We're making some homemade chips. Now this one again is very simple to do. All you will need is take the fresh tortillas, or even a couple of days old if you've left some in the fridge. It's a great use to use spare tortillas. Now lightly brush them both sides with a small amount of oil and a seasoning of your choice. I used my chili salt, and then you can cut them into either strips for dipping sticks, or you can cut them into the triangle tortilla chip shapes with a knife or pizza cutter, and then place them spread on a baking tray in a 400 Fahrenheit oven or a 200 C oven and bake for 6 to 8 minutes on each side, not just one side, on both sides. So you're looking at like 12 to 16 minutes. And then they should come out lightly browned and crisp. So all you're really doing is just browning them up and drying them out. Now, of course, as most things on this channel, these turn out way better than I hoped for. Charlotte absolutely loves them. She prefers them over pretty much all shop brought crisps now. So that's me making them a lot in the kitchen now. And I'm actually in the process of making my second batch of salsa, where I'm doing a double batch because it just didn't last long enough. It's all gone now. But with these chips, you can add so many different flavors to it. It doesn't have to be just salty. You can add like sugar cinnamon to them. You can add like the pre-made like seasoning mixes for other things. Just sprinkle a little bit of that over the top. You could do some dill ones, which I'm actually very tempted to do. So yeah, the possibilities for flavoring these are absolutely up to whatever you can push to within reason. But yeah, I highly recommend trying these, and I hope to see you next week for something that could resemble a hot sauce. I'm not entirely sure yet, but it could definitely resemble a hot sauce. But anyway, I will catch you then. We will need 3 cups of flour, a tablespoon. It's not even a tablespoon, it's a teaspoon. To start, we will need 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, and apparently a cat. Seriously, this is what happens. I've got 3 dogs and a cat in the room at the moment. It's not good recording time.